Hey everyone, you've got a bit of a soft skills talk at the end there. I realize I'm the last one. I'm the only one standing between you and some beers. So I'll try and make it as quick as possible. But hopefully today you've been inspired. You want to go and build something. But I want to just leave you with a different thought, which is I'm you as well. I'm a developer. I want to build stuff. But at the end of the day, someone is paying our salary. Someone has to get behind what we build. And so how we get these projects across the line is what I'm going to spend the next 15 minutes or so on. So a little bit about me. I'm the APAC lead dev advocate at Dynatrace, an observability company. I'm a CNCF ambassador, mainly focusing on the open telemetry space. I'm the maintainer of the Python op-amp, that's the open agent management protocol. Basically, if you're using open telemetry and you're sending your telemetry through collectors, managing one of those is going to be easy. Managing 100 or so collectors is tough, and the op-amp protocol is a way to manage those collectors at scale, remotely, do updates, restarts, all that kind of thing. So I've got an open source server that can do all of that. Also, as you can see, a scuba diver, that's me down at the Gold Coast. And you can find me on LinkedIn and YouTube. But we're not really here to talk about me. How many of you have thought that? Yes. And I'm sorry to say, but let's just take a breath for a moment, because they don't care. Or put a little bit more positively, they don't care as much as you do. Think about it. We all care about this conference, but nobody in this room cares more about this conference than the organizers. They have spent months, if not the last year, trying to arrange this. So it's our job to really get them to care as much as we possibly can. So accept it. There's nothing we can do about it. Breathe in, breathe out, and let's move on and try and convince them. Fun story, actually, that Keep Calm and Carry On poster was a World War II poster. I'm sure you all know by now, but it was rediscovered about 10 years ago in a shop in Alnwick, which is about 20 miles away from my original home, up in Northumberland. So a little bit of a, fun little fact there. So what did I build? What got me to this talk? So to show that I'm not just talking absolute rubbish, this is what I built. It's, as you can see, a browser window. This is a full working compute Kubernetes cluster. It is compute in the browser. It's all spun up via GitHub Codespaces. GitHub give you 2,000 credits a month, which if you haven't used it, try Codespaces, because what I did was I built a full GitHub Pages doc site against it, because my role is doing things like this, turning up at conferences, talking, turning up at customer sites and trying to show them something or demo something or teach them something. But then I leave and I realized that all I was really leaving them with was a README file. And that wasn't enough for me, to be honest. So, because often, as you probably saw before, you get in and someone has a lockdown laptop, or they've got a firewall or antivirus that you can't install something, and I wanted to get rid of all of that. So what I built was all the good things. It was fully open source. You got given a repo with all of the docs, all of the code, all of the YAML, the markdown, etc., etc. It was free, accessible to all. It runs both locally on your laptop if you want, or as I've just shown, in the cloud on demand through GitHub. And what I was expecting was to take this to management and say, we've solved our problem. We can now enable our customers, enable, conferences, and they're going to love it. And that's what I was expecting. Well done, Adam. Go and grab a beer. You can take the rest of the day off. What I actually got was, and I thought, what's the disconnect here? Why? I mean, I don't understand. I've built this cool techie thing. What's going on? So here's how I learned to sell. And I'll put that in inverted commas because no money has ever changed hands for this thing. And it never probably will. But you do have to learn to sell your ideas to get people on board with it. So again, it might seem a bit obvious, but for those of you who are newer in your careers, try and tie everything to a business problem. because someone is paying our bills. Someone is paying our salary. So what business challenge? Not the tech challenge. We've solved that, okay? Let's move on from that. The business challenge we're actually trying to solve. What pain or blocker did you solve in your role? And again, it sounds obvious because you only built the thing because of the pain. What I mean there is try and learn how to elicit the problem, speak the problem to others, because if they're not going to understand your problem, it's great that it's in your head, but it's no good in your head. It needs to be in their head as well. And they need to kind of feel a little bit of that pain and understand the why. Try and find others in the organization that either have your pain or, try and find others that either have your problem or a very adjacent problem. Because if you can prove to the business that that problem is slightly bigger than just you and your team. And if you can't, unfortunately, I'm not taking away from you, that's still a problem for you and your team, but you're going to struggle with buy-in because it means the problem isn't big enough for the rest of the company. So a little bit about my journey. It started at Perform 2025, which is Dynatrace's big flagship conference once a year in Las Vegas. It's a big deal. And I was going around, talking about the thing I built and not really getting anyone biting. And then one guy said, I get it now. When we start talking, he said, wait a minute, this person over here likes it. I think they would, that would solve their problem. And this kept happening over and over and over again. And after about 20 minutes, there were 5 of us talking in this circle. And I realized that's now the team, because this problem is spread wide enough across the organization to actually solve. And from then, it stopped being my problem and it stopped being ours. The solution wasn't my thing that I built. It was, let's build it together. It was us. So how do you actually become a sales? That feels horrible, doesn't it? How do you become a salesperson? For me, it's not about selling. I'm never going to sell anything. That's not my bag. But it's more about convincing and supporting those who back you. And time is money as well. Because if someone is willing, if I explain this problem to someone and the solution, and they say, yeah, we'll try it, they're putting their trust in me and in us. So support them. But one of the tricks I thought of was pretend it is for sale. Pretend you are the prospect. Flip it round. What would convince me or you, to part with your money or your time? What would make you take that risk on yourself? Try and think about it the other way around. Beware of ego, both your own and your competitors, because there is a pride in, we've built this thing and it's great, but temper that with reality. Try and obviously make allies, not adversaries. You don't want to go to people and go, this thing that we've been doing forever, it's rubbish, and this thing's great, and it's prickly. Try and say, well, there's a better way to do this. And this might just be the English in me, but, a bit too negative, but try and anticipate the rejection. Play devil's advocate with yourself. Try and think about what other people are going to say. And then you can either change and update the tech to solve that, and that's the easy bit, or you can try kind of change the narrative a little bit. But be honest, if something, we're developers, if something isn't designed for that thing, there's nothing that marks someone out as a salesperson more to me than someone going, yes, it can do that. Yes, it can do that. Yes, it's easy. It's effortless. We know it's not. So, be honest with people. But how do we actually, now that we've got our team, now that we've got our tech, it's great tech, let's move on. How do we actually go and get this across the line and bring it across the finish line? Yes, tenure might matter. It might matter a lot. It might not matter very much, but you can hack it, because if you've done the first bit well and built your team, you can leverage their tenure and their sway in the organization. If your team believe in that goal and that thing, in that project, you can leverage the team to hack it. It's a bit ironic given that I'm sitting monologuing at you, but I wish I'd done this more and listen. I wish I'd spent the first 6 months just talking to people about this problem, because we've actually had to re-engineer this 3 times just to fix the actual problem. Try and listen more. Really, it's not time wasted if you just listen to people's problems, because they will have problems you haven't even thought about. This is a really hard one. It's still really hard for me. As techies, it's software. We think, well, we can build anything. Let's go and build it. We have a bias to action. We have a bias to let's go build it and build it now. Try and overcome that and really think, as I say, about listening, about planning. I know it's boring, but trust me, it does work. Show, don't tell. That's obvious to us. Documentation. That one is so important, I'm going to put it twice. Please, I know it's boring. Please document your stuff. You can have the best thing in the world, but if nobody can use the damn thing, they won't use it. Please document your stuff correctly. Try, offer help. Try and be there as a partner, as a walk hand in hand. Don't force anything. Then you're a salesperson, and we don't like that. Don't underestimate inertia. This is probably the main blocker you're going to get. People don't like change. It's going to take time. Inertia is real, and you just have to keep plugging away at it. But the flip side to that is that once you start the ball rolling and you prove yourself, that inertia, the benefit spins to you. And your solution, if it is the right tech, that inertia stays with you. So it's kind of a double-sided coin there. And again, you will be displacing something. Even if that something is a spreadsheet that you're trying to say, let's move away from. And think about the person behind that. You're displacing their spreadsheet. At some point in the past, they came up with that spreadsheet idea, and until right now, it's been a great idea. So remember the humans behind all of this. It's not just the tech. That's the main thing I'm trying to get across here. Now, this irritates me about the sales side of the organization. They want to say everything's simple, everything's one click, everything's cool. Make it as simple as possible, but as complex as necessary. And don't apologize for it being complex. If it's complex, say, yes, it's complex. And it needs to be as complex as this because it's powerful, because it does X, Y, and Z. Don't oversimplify. There's nothing worse than someone going, yeah, it's simple. Be honest, say, no, it wasn't designed for this use case that you're saying. That's how we as techies talk to each other. We realize we don't have a panacea. And whoever it is that comes up and is the first one to put the hand up and say, yeah, let's go, support them, be there for them. Do not just leave them to their own devices, because they're not taking a risk on the tech. They're taking a risk on you. So be there for them and go out of your way to help. So to recap, tech is a very small part of this. It's an important part. Don't get me wrong. The tech's got to be good. The tech's got to be solid. Spend time on it. But the human side and trying to get that influence is a much bigger problem to solve. And it's a much more boring problem to solve, but it's going to get you further, to be honest. Change takes time. Inertia is real, but as I say, it works both ways. So when you go back on Monday, your dedication to this, we're all here on Saturday. That's not in question. You know that you're here to build, you're here to learn, but try and figure out who else in your organization is and try and get them on your team. So as you go back tonight, as you have a beer, try and think about who you want on your team, who's going to get your thing across the line. And last thing is good luck with whatever you're trying to build, whatever initiatives you're trying to start. It's time to put on your tie and start selling. If you want to try the demos that I was talking about, by the way, either that QR code or this GitHub topic, basically each of those repos is a dedicated tutorial, from observability to security to all sorts of other things. And each repo, as I say, has all of everything you need for that thing. So there shouldn't be any secrets. And in the spirit of being humble, please do raise issues, raise PRs. We're open to feedback, and everything is completely open source. So thanks for your time, and it's almost beer time.